Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Chefie Talks. Today, I'm going to be talking about something very influential in my life and something very near and dear to my heart. Something that has got me through a lot of situations in life, and that is anime. I've lost interest in it in the last few years, but recently, uh, I have really seen the light of it, uh, and what I do like about anime. Um, so let's go ahead and back it up to the beginning. I started watching anime whenever I was in first grade. And just to put that in reference, I've been out of school uh, for about 5 years now. I want to say maybe six. So the first anime that I've ever seen, and just like a lot of kids from the '90s, was Pokemon. That was the very first anime that I remember watching. Um, and it was a very meaningful time in my life, anyways, because I had my first best friend, which was my mom's best friend's daughter, which is Misty Watkins. And she was a very special girl that meant a lot to me. She was pretty much like a sister. Uh, and I remember she came over and we made a bet that we could not, one of us was going to fall asleep, you know. So we both stayed up all night long, and we stayed up and watched the very first episode of Pokemon. I want to say it was the very first. It may have been the second one. I can't remember. But like two episodes came on, and we watched both of them, and we thought it was the best show ever. And that was before I noticed anyone with Pokemon cards. That was before anybody had like Pokemon paraphernalia. I didn't notice anybody with games. Nothing. Um. So I never knew whenever it came on and stuff. Well, then I noticed on Saturdays on Kids WB it started coming on. So I watched it religiously, just like a lot of kids in the '90s. And I used to collect all the cards. I still do. I have some right here beside me. I mean, um, I used to watch all the movies. I used to play. I've played every single one of the main storyline games, meaning all of the like turn-based styled games like Pokemon Red, Blue, Green, all of them for the handhelds. So it's been a huge part of my life, just Pokemon alone. It still follows me today. I have tattoos of Pokemon on me. Um, and people think it's silly. Normal people that have never watched Pokemon or have and has gotten out of it thinks it's silly. But if you think about it, it really teaches you really good values. And a lot of animes are like this, but Pokemon specifically for right now teaches you really good values about life. It teaches you never give up on your goals, never give up on your dreams, never give up on your friends. It teaches you how to make new friends, how to keep old friends. It teaches you a lot about life. Just this one kid's anime, it's ridiculous. And it's still going today and teaching kids today don't give up on your goals, always stick to your dreams. And that's just the anime alone. The video games teaches different things as well. Um, so ever since then, you know, I pretty much was on board with just Pokemon. And then whenever Toonami came on, I started watching Dragon Ball Z, of course, which is another excellent show. Another one teaches you the value of friends because Goku's friends died on that show, so it taught you value of a friend, and never to, uh, what's what I'm looking for? Never take your friends for granted, pretty much. It also taught you about hardworking and stuff like that. And I mean, you have to kind of beat around the bush to see it, but if you really pay attention, it shows you friendship and it shows you working hard. Also, I watched Naruto. That's another one, just pretty much the same thing. All of the animes have that kind of thing in common that I've seen, where you build friendships and you might lose some friendships, but you value the ones that you have even more after you lost the friends that you have gained, and they ended up either turning evil or dying or whatever on these shows. It teaches you to really value your friendship and value the people around you uh, that value you. Um, but So also it has influenced the way that I see things in life as far as like uh, learning and how to talk to people in general. And a lot of the characters off of these shows have gone from these stupid little kids to adults that have real responsibilities. And it's funny watching these shows and seeing the dorky kids like how I was and still am growing into these adults that have real responsibilities and stuff like that, and it just kind of follows you. Um, so enough of the sappy stuff. I'm gonna be talking about uh, some of the movies that I've been watching recently, and just telling you about them. And these three movies specifically, uh, you should definitely go watch. If no other, just go watch these three movies, and they are phenomenal movies. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is the first two actually are made by the same person. I didn't know his name, so I had to go look it up. So forgive me for reading this. His name is Hayao Miyazaki, which I'm sure if you watch any kind of anime and if you've ever skimmed across any kind of movies, anime movies, you know this person. He has made so many different animes. He has movies and stuff like that. Like he's made the first one, the first two that I'm talking about is My Neighbor Totoro. I'll come back to both of these. And Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, and Peño. Ponyo. That's how you say it. And he's made, I think it's like 25 more than that, or not more than that, including that. He's made like 25 movies altogether, and that's ridiculous because making these movies takes like 4 years to do. So each one of these movies take at least 4 years to make, and he's pretty much drawn all of the art. He's produced everything, Um, so he's a very influential man, and so starting with my first movie that you need to watch is not, oh, you should go watch this. This is a movie that you need to go watch, is My Neighbor Totoro, or Totoro, however you want to pronounce it. This movie is about two girls and their dad uh, moving out to the woods, or not into the woods, but into the country. The oldest sister is Suski, and May is the youngest sister. It's talking about how they move out into the country and they find like spirits in their house. They're coal sprites, or what do they call them? No, I can't think of it. I just watched it last night. It's a shame. Um, but they they find these sprites and they move out of their house and everything, and they go to the woods. The sprites do and talk to other spirits and stuff like that. I'm trying to not to give too much away. And the youngest May uh, finds Totoro, which is, if you know who Snorlax is off of Pokemon, he looks a lot like him to me. And Totoro means troll in Japanese, just to keep that in mind. Uh, but she finds Totoro, and I'm going to irritate so many people by saying it like that, but that's how it's pronounced. Maybe not in the movie, but in the Japanese version, that's how it's pronounced. Uh, so they find these spirits and they just have this big adventure where the youngest sister is hard to work with. She reminds me a lot of my daughter, how she's kind of ill-tempered and stuff like that sometimes. And I don't even know how to really describe this one because it's not really that far out there compared to like Spirited Away, but it's like it would sound boring if I tried to describe it to you, but it's actually a very interesting, very heartfelt movie that you must go watch. I'm not telling you, oh, you need to watch it. You need to go. I mean, you have to go watch this. This movie, even if you don't like anime, go watch this. Um, so my next movie is Spirited Away. It's about this girl and her family. They're also moving out of town, and they make a wrong turn. And the girl's name is Chihiro. That's how it's pronounced in American, Chihiro. in kind of like the Japanese kind of translation, not really translation, but how I would say it if I was Japanese. Anyways, um, so this is kind of like a Alice in Wonderland kind of movie where it starts out where the family is going and to a new town. They're moving into the country and they make a wrong turn and they end up at this like little festival thing where the dad and the mom start eating and like kind of neglect the girl, Chihiro, and they literally turn into pigs and she's trying to save her mom and dad and everything. And she goes into this wondrous world where a lot of different characters, like you'll even see the sprites from Totoro. If you watch Totoro first, you'll see the sprites from that in this movie. But you'll see all kinds of disgusting, funny, wondrous characters in this movie. Um, I love this movie, and I like it more than uh, my neighbor Totoro. So go watch Totoro first. That one to me is more of a kids movie. Totoro is, and this one is more. It's not like adult movie, but it's more serious, more of a serious tone. There are serious tones in Totoro. Don't get me wrong, but Spirited Away, it just has like this darker undertone through the whole movie. So definitely go watch both of those. Um, I'm not going to do like a rating system 1 to 10 or whatever like that because both of these are must sees. Uh, or all three of these actually are must sees. My next one is one that I just watched tonight, and I actually watched it last night too. It's just a phenomenal movie. It's excuse me, Wolf Children. Excuse me, and I'm probably going to butcher his name by Mamoru uh, Hozaru. Mamoru Hozaru. I think that's how it's said. I'll type both of these names down below so you can find some of their movies. And I'll try to find the link because I had to watch this one on YouTube. I couldn't find any websites that actually showed Spirited Away completely. So you might have to actually go out and buy Spirited Away, but this movie you can find on YouTube. It's about a 2 hour movie, and for like kids, it's probably going to be boring. My daughter is very patient whenever it comes to watch a movie. She enjoyed it, but uh, for like normal kids or high strung kids, they're not going to enjoy it um, because this one is not like really funny. It's not really like a cartoony kind of vibed movie. Um, but Wolf Children is about uh, a young lady called hold on, I'm not thinking of her name. Hana, and she's going to college and she meets this guy. I can't remember his name. I didn't do as much research on this one. But she meets this guy and he seems like an outcast, and she goes to meet him. She pretty much has a crush on him instantly, and they both fall in love. They both have a child together, or two children together. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, but something happens to him. He either moves away, he has something happen, he has to go to work somewhere else. I'm not going to ruin that part for you. So you just got to watch a movie to figure out what happens. But, oh, I accidentally skipped a little bit ahead. He is kind of like a werewolf. He's not like a stereotypical, go kill everybody werewolf. And he's not like Twilight werewolves either, but he is a werewolf. But anyways, back to him. Something happens to him where he is not in the picture anymore, and well, he kind of is through the movie, but uh, you just gotta watch it. I'm not gonna give any spoilers on that. But so pretty much this young lady, Hana, is having to raise her two kids, and they are both werewolf children, and as they're growing up in, I think they're in Tokyo, I want to say. So big city, they're both wolves. She can't take them to the doctors because she can't decide whether to take them to the vet or to the hospitals. She can't take them to school because they will turn into, well, not at this young age, anyways. They're too young to go to school because I think they were like, I want to say one was 3 and one was 2 whenever they were in the city. But couldn't take them really out in public without one of them changing. So she ends up moving out of the city and going into the country. All these have that in common. They all go out to the country. But she ends up going out to the country, and so they can pretty much choose what destiny they want, whether they want to be wolves or whether they want to be uh, humans. they go to school and do all that stuff. So both of the kids have very different personalities. One's extremely rambunctious and wants to get into everything, and then the other one is more melancholy. Uh, he's more of a crybaby. He wants to just stay by his mom's side all the time and everything like that. Well, Hana is having a hard time raising them as Wolf. She has a awesome time raising them as a kid. That's perfectly fine. But raising them as a wolf is the hard part for her. Uh, and also the townspeople they think she's weird at first, but then they get to know her better. So even though she tried to move away from the city to get away from people, she ends up making all these friends and all that good stuff. So I'm not going to go into any more detail about this because I want you guys to go and watch this movie and me not give you any spoilers because this movie literally, if it wasn't for me watching an AMV that kind of ruined what happened with the dad and everything and where he went and all that good stuff. Uh, uh, I I would have cried probably or almost cried 3 times. I didn't cry through the whole movie. I'm not a titty baby like that. But anyways, there's 2 times where the kids at the end of the movie they're kind of like both moving out of the house. I'm not going to go any deeper than that. Kids move out of the house regardless. But they're both moving out of the house, and if I didn't have kids, I probably wouldn't have, or a daughter, I wouldn't have felt so sad about it. But the way that they did it and stuff like that, I almost like cried and stuff. It was just kind of like a dad moment though. But regardless if you have kids or not, this is a wonderful movie. For all 3 of these movies, the detail and face and the animations anyway are wonderful. But the difference between Miyazaki and Hasara is Miyazaki, which is the one that made Spirited Away and Totoro, he pays more attention to the face, and I mean he has great art as far as the uh, trees and all that good stuff goes. But he pays a lot of attention, and you'll see this especially in Spirited Away. In but he has more detail in the facial structures, wrinkles, moles, all this good stuff. He has great eye for detail for those things. In Hasuda films, the only one that I've seen is Wolf Children. Amazing amount of detail in the surroundings. The people, I mean, they look good. I mean, they look fantastic, but the amount of detail that he put into like water and rocks and stuff like that. Like my wife had a hard time differentiating between a real spider web and what he created. Um, so his art style was phenomenal as far as uh, animals and the outer stuff. Um, and also for both of these, the music is fantastic, but you get more dialect in the Mizaki films compared to Wolf Children. A lot of the feel of the movie for Wolf Children comes from the music. It wouldn't have been so heart wrenching if it wasn't for the music that they designed and they played throughout the whole entire movie. So go check out any of Miyazaki films, and go check out especially My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away. Those 2 are my favorite so far. I haven't watched too many of them, but those are my 2 favorites so far. Um, and then go check out Wolf Children, a great movie. Just go check it out, rent it, whatever. I'm pretty sure I can get the link and put it down below, so you won't even have to go looking around the internet for it. It's going to be right there for you. So go check it out. There's no excuse why you shouldn't, unless you're on a time limit, because it is a 2-hour movie. But it flies by, and it is amazing. So as always, people, stay beautiful, sexy, and chefy. Good night, and I love you guys.